everybody, I am here to go over a pattern review. This is for the Mr. Heckles handbag. The pattern is by Sincerely Jen. It is one of my first times making one of her patterns. It was new to me to follow her patterns and read them. I will admit that I did see a video of this bag being made prior to me making or even buying the pattern. That's kind of what led me to purchase this pattern. This is just also first to let you know, I do sew on a domestic machine. I sew on an Elna Experience 550. This pattern is only to go over tips, not really tricks, but tips, any struggles that I might have, just to let people know that if they're interested in purchasing the handbag and they sew on a, for example, they sew on a domestic. Not everybody has, an industrial to go over, certain things, seams and things of that nature. So, and a lot of people with domestics are always interested in if a handbag would work well with a domestic. So that is what my pattern reviews are all about. Without further ado, this is the Mr. Heckles handbag. I really thought it was a really easy bag to sew. There wasn't anything overly complicated as far as the making of the bag. As far as seams, the thickest problems that I had was the straps right here, because you have your straps. When you sew your straps in and then go to top stitch, you've got a lot of layers, okay? So you have to be very careful over this. Now, as an option, instead of using a vinyl, you can always, it doesn't have to match your, straps or anything. You can always, pull something else and make it a different color. You could maybe do a canvas or something to make it a little thinner, because I used a vinyl, because I've got vinyl on vinyl, and that's a lot. And while my machine handled it well, it was a bit, I had to go over very slowly when I top stitched these seams. The bag went together well. It's really easy piecing. You've got your four pieces, and then when you sew it all together, you just got to be careful when you're top stitching on your last one, because it'll be a full circle, so you'll have to top stitch like in the hole type of thing. Or in a tunnel, I guess you could say. I think I've heard it word called in the tunnel when you're on your last top stitching. So I would maybe suggest, if that's the case, you could do that on the seam on the back of the bag. That way, if there's if you go sway off a little bit because you're sewing in a tunnel, you've got that leeway. Or if it's in the back of the bag, maybe not use contrasting thread if you're worried about it. Sewing in the tunnel, that is. So that would be an option for that. Really, that's the biggest thickness that I had, because like I say, it was right through here, and then right here too on the back where there's a pocket and there's two seams. The bag here, there's two seams that goes together here that form where you have this pocket. So you've got the seams here and here, and then you've got the thing, your strap going in. So when you're top stitching, you've got to be careful when you're sewing and you're doing your seams there. You could always trim your seam allowance down, but of course you don't want to go any less than between a quarter and an eighth of an inch, because you don't want to lose that in the bag or seam come out. This was not difficult to sew the straps on and put that over that. That was not a lot, because your seam of your bag is up right here, your center seam. And quite honestly, I thought it was really, top stitching the top of the bag I thought was easy, simply because how she does the sides of her bags. The sides of her bag is here for the front, for the side panel, because it kind of goes in, and then you've got your center seam here. So you do not have two seams meeting on the side here. They're separated. So that made it really easy to go over, because I always struggle, well, my machine always struggles when they cross over here when you've got the two seams meeting. So that made it a lot easier to sew. Overall, again, this was an easy sew. It was a great bag to make. Pay close attention when you're sewing this pocket. It's a different, unique way of making a pocket in a bag. I suggest, she herself has a YouTube tutorial out. The one that I watched first was Siah Swag. Her tutorial, she done one on Mr. Heckles. She actually has done several where they're, some of them, because this is a good size bag, where they decreased it down a little bit, or I think they did it at 85%, and I think someone has even done it 110%. So you've got your options with that. You like the style, then you can make it bigger or smaller. The inside, I made your basic zipper panel. It's just a narrow. She's got a very narrow zipper placket, so be mindful of that. So your seams are real careful with that, because you've got a little, so since it's skinnier, it's a little, you know, less of a leeway. Inside your basic pockets, she does, her slip pocket does go the width of the bag. So so you've got your pockets into the seam allowance. So be careful if you're worried about bulk at your seam allowances. You can always keep interfacing out of your pocket, slip pocket. You can keep it out that way. You don't have as much seam, slip. Other than that, this was a really, I finished this bag once. Just when from start to finish to sew it. I sew at lunchtime. For my work lunchtime, because I work from home, so I sew at lunchtime, so I get like 50-ish minutes to sew during the week, and then at night I'll sew for about an hour to an hour and a half at night after dinner. I had this bag sewn within the week. That's how easy, and that's interrupted sewing, you know, stop, start, stop, start. So that was, I guess, and even to cut it out was actually quite easy, because you've got your 4 pieces here. You've got, actually it's not more, it's 5 pieces, because this piece is separate on the pocket. So it's 5 pieces, and then you've got your lining and your pockets. It's a great bag. I would, you know, honestly, I would probably, except for the bulk and being careful of bulk, a beginner, an advanced beginner could do this bag, I think, easily, as long as they take their time, watch the bulk, and watch the choices they have if they're using a domestic machine. So again, that's my pattern review for Mr. Heckles. Fantastic bag. I will link the pattern below, as well as her YouTube channel and Siah Swag, her YouTube video as well. There's others out there, Mr. Heckles. I think Lauren Mormino has one out. Pretty sure she does, because I think I watched hers with beautiful red glittery vinyl that she used on the sides and the handles. I loved it. So she has that one out there as well. And I'll put a link to hers as well, because she's always fun to watch. So anyways, that's go out and get your pattern. Great pattern, especially to work with you if you're an intermediate, an advanced beginner. Thank you so much, and everyone have a good day.